Before we get into the video, I need you guys to do me a favour. Number 1, get this video to at least 200 likes. Also comment, let me know your thoughts on the case. Imagine giving your life to the army and defending your country in war, only to ruin all the admiration, appreciation and thankfulness by doing something truly heinous. British Army Corporal 29-year-old Sam Evans had offered to take his victim on a night out in Plymouth. That would involve drink, music and a club environment. Now the woman and Sam were relatively known to each other after talking for 2 months, but this was the first time that they actually met up face to face. Now the victim had actually lost her phone in Plymouth and she ended up getting in a taxi with Sam, whom used his position as being employed in the army to gain the woman's trust. The taxi ended up taking the group to Sam's flat in Devonport, Plymouth, where it was agreed that Sam would call a taxi for his victim after he declared his love for her and made the woman feel uncomfortable. Again, Sam and the woman in question had only been speaking for roughly 2 months, and this was the first time that they had actually been together face to face. When the group arrived at Sam's flat, the victim again asked Sam to call a taxi. Sam directed the woman to his bedroom. He then locked the door and suggested the duo have some fun, despite the fact that there were other people in the flat at the time. The victim was then restricted, put on the bed and then told that she would need a safe word for the things he was about to do. 29-year-old Sam Evans, the man who was built up by the British Army to be disciplined, to follow orders and to be an example of how people should behave, was able to switch. He went from an upstanding citizen, bystander of society in one moment and then became a perverse individual that got off on humiliating another human being to the point that he degraded them. It's an understatement to say that the victim in question suffered. During the despicable and heinous night that took place on July 2nd of 2022, Sam Evans had pressed his knee against the woman's chest and used his weight to pull her down. He gripped his hands around her neck, squeezed to the point where she fell in and out of consciousness. Sam Evans also struck the woman to the face. Now the victim was bitten, spat at and objects were inserted. He even used her as a toilet. Think about that. During parts of the ordeal that lasted for hours, the woman cried. When she cried and pleaded with Sam to stop, he sought reasons to continue his barbaric behaviour. When she screamed, he told her to shut up. Now when Sam was eventually done, he allowed the victim to go home. He reminded her that it would be wise not to tell anyone, as he would get in trouble. And he also told her, "I know where you live." Now the woman wanted a taxi, but Sam decided to drive her home himself. He also noted to her that he felt bad for his actions. Now the victim was forced to tell her mom what happened to her when the mom noticed her face. She went to the hospital as she was in pain and explained what happened to the nurses and the doctors. They then called the police and an invasive examination was conducted. Now Sam was arrested while driving his van on July 7th and he was charged for his crimes. Initially, he pled not guilty and he denied all accusations. He was taken to court and during the court, the victim was brave enough to confront the person that ruined her life. Sam Evans was forced to listen to every gritty detail he had put the victim through, including the urination. Sam cried during parts of the incident and did actually express remorse, as he had also written a letter. However, he was told that he could not have contact with the victim for 25 years, and he was also sentenced to 14 years in prison. As for the victim, she suffers memory loss, she can't go to the toilet without medical assistance, and she's a shell of her former self. Stay safe.